Hey everyone, I'm introducing to you a cold process emulsifier today. We're going to make a very, very basic, simple hand lotion, but it is incredibly silky, which is always a nice benefit. In here, I've got my water, my glycerin, and my preservative. I've chosen a preservative that is stable and not sensitive until 60 degrees Celsius, and I've done that for a reason. Today we are going to be using a powdered cold process emulsifier. Now, you can okay, and the reason why I have chosen this particular preservation system is because I do want to heat the water just a little bit. And you're probably saying right now, but I thought it was a cold process emulsifier. It is. You can use it with the water at room temperature. What I have found, and I've been using this particular emulsifier for about 4 or 5 years now. Whenever Windy Point started carrying it, I did buy it right away, so I have used it quite a bit. And when I don't warm the water, I end up getting like these little tiny kind of powdered speckles in the formula. You don't feel them, but you can see them. And it bothers me. So this is why I choose to heat the water a little bit, which you can with this cold process emulsifier. I have, I think 3 or 4 different ones by the same manufacturer, and they all are quite different. I will go over making some 10-minute hair products down the road with you guys, but today I'm introducing this really affordable emulsifier. There is one that is even more affordable. It is by far the most cost-effective emulsifier that I've ever used. I'll introduce that one in the next video because I don't want to confuse you guys. This one is a mouthful. It's G-Spurs Ice TLB TNS. It is an anionic emulsifier. I am not wearing gloves in my videos. I rarely do because whatever I make is for demonstrational purposes only and used by myself. I do not make products for the public in these videos. When I do make products for the public, I do use gloves. I also have a pretty bad burn on my hand, and the gloves hurt right now when I put them on. So what you would start with is warming your water. Again, you don't have to do this, but I just find the product comes out much nicer when you do. I've chosen dimethicone and C12 alkaline benzoate for our lipids, and along with fragrance. So just something to take into account when you are using any emulsifier. Your fragrance oil is part of the lipid content, so you have to factor that in. And if you're using vitamin E mixed tocopherols, you also want to factor that in to the percentage of lipids that you're using, because each emulsifier has its own capabilities, and not every emulsifier can safely emulsify the same percentage of lipid. So you want to make sure that you always include your fragrance in that count. We're just going to warm it up. I'm using for fragrance today the same Apple Orchid fragrance that I used for the hand wash, because these are meant to be paired together. So I will let this heat up for a few minutes and be right back. Okay, and I wanted to add, what is so great about cold process emulsifiers is that you've got your emulsifier and your rheology modifier in one product. So they really do save money. Okay, so I've got this up to just below 60. We don't want it going over 60 because you could choose a different preservative. I just used this one because I had it on hand here. You just pour your emulsifier in. The other great thing is that this is not shear sensitive, so I just like to, I'm whisk happy. I use my whisker so much. I just like to get it like all in there before I stick blend. Okay, now let's make sure we get everything from the sides in there. Now I still haven't added my lipids. Sorry if that hurt your guys' ears. That's what I love about stainless steel bowls, is that I can do that. I can't do that with a beaker. Now to warm this up, it took, honestly, it was like 2.5 minutes. So it's really quick to make these. And there's no specific temperature that you have to warm it to. I just like to make sure that my preservative is in there as soon as possible. And it didn't take a high percentage either of emulsifier to do this. Can see it's a beautiful texture already. So I've got my lipids. I've used dimethicone, C1215, alcohol benzoate. I sometimes pronounce things wrong. I'm sorry. I do not know the exact pronunciation of all of the materials that I use. I don't think most people do. And my fragrance are all in here. I'll go ahead and pour that all in. This apple fragrance I'm really loving. And I'm so picky with fragrances. It has like such a beautiful Christmassy apple scent. Now you could use your stick blender again now. I did a 200 gram batch, just for demonstration purposes. Especially because a little bit of this goes a long way, but I generally do 500 grams and under for these videos, just so that they're not extremely time consuming for me and I can move on to working on another product. And sometimes I'm making something that I already have a lot of made. So that's why you generally see me do smaller amounts for videos. I will show you how this spreads and absorbs. It's such a nice texture. So let me get most of that off. I just want to use a little bit here. Can see like, oh sorry, I wasn't in the camera enough, guys. Okay, so I'm using just a tiny bit. Sorry, my burn on my hand is so unattractive. Can see like it absorbs so beautifully. Like there's no soapy effect at all. And it's so nice and silky, but not greasy. Now, there are quite a few cold press emulsifiers. I just ordered, like, to restock a few of the more natural ones. The ones that I'm using, or that I use today, is synthetic. They do have, where's the one that I was looking at here that was just so, they do have G-Quat NDCS, which is extremely affordable. It's like $4 for 100 grams of it, which is an amazing price considering you only need to use, like, I used 4% to get this. Where if I was to use, and you can see it's like a nice thick lotion, where if I was to use all of them, for example, I would have a really, really thin product with 4%. So you are using less of them as well, and you don't need to worry about purchasing a rheology modifier because that's all built into the one material, which is fantastic. I will be working with a lot of cold process emulsifiers. I use Seppi Plus 400 quite a bit. Emulthix I use. There's 4 different ones, powdered versions, that I'm going to introduce to you guys like fairly shortly. But I've ordered a few other ones that I ran out of. Aristoflex is another fantastic one. So there's lots. We're going to cover lots of them. They're great because like during the holidays, when everybody is so busy, you can whip up a product really fast. Like this whole thing is taking me a little longer than normal because I am yapping away.